Daehyun wiped the sweat from his forehead and looked up at the massive steel frame rising into the evening sky. The new cultural center was coming together nicely. 3 years ago, he never would have imagined building something like this. 3 years ago, Earth didn't have alien neighbors. The Valorans had arrived on a cold November morning in 2042. Their colony ship appeared in Earth's orbit without warning, and for 24 terrifying hours humanity held its breath. But the aliens came in peace. They were refugees, they explained through careful translation. Their homeworld had been destroyed. Only 10,000 of them remained and they needed sanctuary. Earth said yes. Now 3 years later, the Valorans lived in special zones across the planet. They worked alongside humans, shared their technology, and slowly became part of daily life. Daehyun saw them at the construction site sometimes. Tall, graceful beings with skin that glowed softly in the dark. They were polite, quiet, and kept mostly to themselves. His phone buzzed. It was Jiwon, his best friend and co-worker. "Did you see the news?" The message read. "The Valorans are making some big announcement tonight. Everyone's talking about it." Daehyun checked the time. 7 in the evening. He packed his tools and headed home to his small apartment. He lived alone. Had lived alone for 5 years now, ever since his parents died in a car accident. Work filled his days and sleep filled his nights. It was a simple life, maybe a lonely one, but it was his. He turned on his television just as the broadcast began. Elder Mireille appeared on screen, the leader of the Valoran colony. She was ancient by human standards, though her people aged differently. Her skin shimmered with soft golden light as she spoke. "People of Earth," she said in perfect English, her voice musical and strange. "We have lived among you for 3 years. You have shown us kindness when we had nothing. You have given us hope when we faced extinction. Tonight we wish to honor that bond with a sacred tradition of our people." Daehyun leaned forward. The camera zoomed in on Elder Mireille's face. Her large eyes seemed to look directly through the screen. "We call it the pairing ritual," she continued. "For thousands of years, my people have formed bonds with compatible beings. These bonds are deep and permanent, connecting two souls through shared emotions and understanding. We have discovered something remarkable. Your species, humanity, is compatible with ours. More than compatible. You are the most ideal partners we have ever encountered in all our travels across the stars." The screen filled with images of Valorans and humans standing together, touching foreheads in some kind of ceremony. "We invite those who wish to volunteer for this pairing," Elder Mireille said. "But we have also identified individuals through compatibility scans performed during routine health checks. These individuals have been matched with Valoran partners. We understand this is unprecedented. We ask only that you consider. The bonds we form will change both our peoples forever." The broadcast ended. Daehyun sat in silence, staring at the dark screen. Compatibility scans? He'd had routine medical checks at work like everyone else. Surely they didn't mean him. He was nobody special. Just an engineer who showed up, did his job, and went home. His phone rang. "Unknown number. Hello? Daehyun? This is Dr. Haijin from the Xenobiology Institute. I need to speak with you urgently. May I come to your apartment?" 20 minutes later, Dr. Haijin sat in his small living room with a Valoran representative beside her. The alien's skin shifted through shades of blue and purple, colors Daehyun didn't understand. Dr. Haijin was a kind-looking woman in her 40s, with tired eyes and a gentle smile. "Daehyun," she said carefully, "you've been selected for the pairing ritual. A Valoran scientist named Nare has chosen you based on your compatibility readings. The match is remarkably strong," he laughed. It came out nervous and sharp. "There must be a mistake. I'm nobody. Why would anyone choose me?" "Your compatibility scores are among the highest we've seen," Dr. Haijin said. "But I want you to know you can refuse. This is completely voluntary." The Valoran representative spoke for the first time. Her voice was softer than Elder Mireille's, younger. "Nare wishes to meet you if you are willing. No commitment yet, just conversation." Daehyun looked at his hands. They were calloused from years of construction work, scarred from small accidents, nothing special. "Why me?" he asked again. "That's what Nare wants to explain," Dr. Haijin said. "Will you meet her?" He agreed. What else could he do? The meeting was arranged for the next day at the Valoran embassy. Daehyun barely slept that night. He called Jiwon at midnight. "They picked you?" Jiwon sounded amazed. "That's incredible. Do you know how many people would volunteer for this?" I don't understand why, Daehyun said. I'm just ordinary. Maybe that's exactly what they're looking for, Ji-won said. Listen, whatever you decide, I support you. But this could be amazing. Don't let fear make you miss out. The Valoran embassy was beautiful. Organic architecture that seemed to grow rather than be built, with soft lights that pulsed like breathing. Dr. Hyejin met him at the entrance and guided him through corridors filled with Valorans going about their day. They all stopped to look at him. Some of their skin flickered with colors he was starting to recognize as curiosity. They entered a small, peaceful room, and there she was. Narai stood by a window, her back to them. She turned as they entered, and Daehyun forgot to breathe. She was tall, maybe 7 feet, with skin that glowed soft silver. Her eyes were large and dark, filled with something that looked like nervousness. Her skin rippled with blues and purples, the same uncertain colors he'd seen on the representative. Hello, she said. Her voice was quiet, musical. Thank you for coming. I was afraid you would refuse. I almost did, Daehyun admitted. I still don't understand why you chose me. They sat facing each other. Dr. Hyejin quietly left the room, giving them privacy. When we perform compatibility scans, Nure explained, we are not just measuring biology. We measure life patterns, emotional resonance, the rhythm of a soul. Your pattern resonated with mine in ways I have never experienced. It felt like finding something I did not know I had lost. But you don't even know me, he said. That is what the pairing is for, she said. To know each other completely. To share everything. It is frightening, yes, but also beautiful. They talked for 2 hours. Narai told him about her work studying the stars, about losing her family when their world died, about feeling alone even among her own people. Daehyun found himself sharing things he'd never told anyone, about his parents, about the loneliness he pretended didn't exist, about wondering if he'd ever matter to anyone. You matter to me, Narai said softly. Already, and we have only just met. Something in Daehyun's chest tightened. Not fear exactly. Something else. Hope, maybe. Or possibility. What happens if I say yes? He asked. We begin preparation, Narai said. Learning about each other. Understanding the bond. Then, if you still wish it, we perform the ritual. After that, we will be connected forever. You will feel what I feel. I will know your heart as my own. Forever is a long time, Daehyun said. Yes, Narai agreed. Her skin shifted to warm gold. He was learning that meant happiness. But I think it would be a good forever. Daehyun went home that night with papers to review and a decision to make. He stood in his empty apartment looking at his reflection in the dark window. An ordinary man with an extraordinary choice before him. He thought about Narai's uncertain smile, about the loneliness in her eyes that matched his own. He thought about spending his life alone in this apartment or taking a chance on something impossible. He picked up his phone and called Dr. Hyejin. I'll do it, he said. Tell Narai I accept. On the other end of the line, Dr. Hyejin smiled. I'll let her know. Daehyun, I think you've made a brave choice. After he hung up, Daehyun sat in the silence of his apartment. His life was about to change in ways he couldn't imagine. He was terrified. But for the first time in 5 years, he didn't feel quite so alone. Tomorrow he would begin the journey toward the pairing ritual. Tomorrow he would start learning what it meant to bond with an alien from across the stars. Tomorrow his ordinary life would become something extraordinary. But tonight he simply sat in the darkness and wondered what Narai was feeling. And somewhere across the city, in the Valoran embassy, Narai's skin glowed with warm golden light. She had received the message. He had said yes. The preparation week felt like living in a dream. Daehyun spent his mornings at work, though he could barely concentrate. His afternoons belonged to the Valoran embassy, where Dr. Hyejin taught him everything he needed to know about the bonding process. The bond creates a permanent connection between your nervous systems, she explained, showing him diagrams that looked like art more than science. You'll share emotions automatically. With practice, you can share thoughts, memories, even sensations. It's not mind reading exactly, more like constant empathy. Does it hurt? Daehyun asked. No, Dr. Hyejin smiled. Most people describe it as warm. Like coming home. He learned about Valoran history too. They had been space travelers for millennia, exploring thousands of worlds. But their home planet had been caught in a cosmic disaster, torn apart by forces beyond their control. 10,000 survivors fled in colony ships. Earth was their last hope. We are a dying species, Elder Mire told him during one session. Without new bonds, without connection to compatible partners, we will fade. Your people may be our salvation. The weight of that responsibility pressed on Daehyun's shoulders. He wasn't just choosing for himself. He was part of something much larger, but the best parts of preparation were his time with Narai. They met every evening in a quiet garden within the embassy. The garden grew earth and Velaran plants together, creating something new and beautiful. Tell me about your work, Narai asked one evening. They sat on a bench beneath strange flowers that glowed in the twilight. It's just construction, Daehyun said. Building things, making sure they don't fall down. But that is important, Narai insisted. Her skin rippled with warm colors. You create foundations, stability. My people need that. We have been adrift for so long. She told him about the stars, about worlds she had studied from afar. Her passion was infectious. When she talked about distant galaxies, her whole body seemed to glow brighter. Do you miss it? He asked. Space travel? Exploration? Sometimes, she admitted. But I think I was searching for something without knowing what it was. Perhaps it was this. Connection, belonging. They discovered unexpected similarities. Both had lost their families young. Both buried themselves in work to avoid dealing with grief. Both felt like outsiders even among their own kind. I was considered strange among my people, Narai confessed. Too interested in other species. Too emotional. Velarans prize logic and control. I never quite fit that mold. I get that, Daehyun said. Everyone always told me I was too serious. Too focused on work. Like I was missing out on life. Maybe we were both just waiting, Narai said softly, for this. The ceremony was scheduled for Saturday evening. 100 human Velaran pairs would bond together in the main hall. It would be broadcast worldwide, a historic moment for both species. Jiwon visited Daehyun the morning of the ceremony. His friend brought coffee and nervous energy. How are you feeling? Jiwon asked. Terrified, Daehyun admitted. Excited. I don't know. All of it at once. That's normal, Jiwon grinned. You're about to link your brain to an alien. That's pretty huge. What if I'm not ready? Daehyun asked. What if I mess this up? Jiwon put a hand on his shoulder. You've spent every evening with her for a week. You light up when you talk about her. You're ready, my friend. You're just scared. That's okay too. The ceremony hall took Daehyun's breath away. The ceiling seemed to disappear into the sky, showing stars that weren't really there. Bioluminescent plants lined the walls, pulsing gently like heartbeats. 100 pairs of chairs faced each other in neat rows. Daehyun found his designated spot. His heart hammered in his chest. Around him, other humans fidgeted nervously. Their Velaran partners stood calm and graceful, though he could see color shifts in their skin that suggested they were nervous too. Then Narai appeared. She wore ceremonial robes that shimmered like liquid starlight. Her skin glowed soft silver, shifting to warm gold when she saw him. She sat in the chair facing his. Hello, she said. Hi, he managed. His mouth was dry. Are you afraid? She asked. Yes, he admitted. You? Very much, she said. But she smiled. But I think we will be afraid together. That makes it easier. Elder Mirai stood at the center of the hall. Her voice carried without amplification, musical and powerful. Today, two species become one family, she said. Today we forge bonds that will last lifetimes. Let those who have chosen to pair come forward in their hearts. Velaran elders moved between the rows, chanting in their ancient language. The sound was beautiful. Layered harmonies that seemed to vibrate in Daehyun's bones. When I signal, Narai said quietly, touch your forehead to mine. Close your eyes. Let yourself feel. The chanting grew louder. Daehyun felt something building in the air like static before a storm. Now, Narai whispered. He leaned forward. Their foreheads touched. Her skin was warm, warmer than he expected. He closed his eyes. The world exploded into color. Warmth flooded through him, but not physical warmth. Emotional warmth. He felt Narai's nervousness, her hope, her joy, her fear all at once. And beneath it all, something deeper. Affection. Care. A gentle tenderness directed at him. His own emotions surged in response. Everything he'd been holding back, all the loneliness and fear and desperate hope flowed outward. And Narai felt it all. The bond clicked into place like a key turning in a lock. Suddenly, he wasn't alone in his own head. Narai was there not as an intruder but as a presence, warm and bright and completely perfectly right. He opened his eyes. Narai was crying, tears running down her glowing cheeks. But she was smiling too. "I feel you," she whispered. "Oh, Daehyun, I feel your heart." "I feel yours too," he said. And it was true. He felt her joy like sunlight, her relief like cool water, her affection like a warm embrace. "It's overwhelming." "Yes," she agreed. "But wonderful." Around them, other pairs were experiencing the same thing. Some laughed, some cried, some sat in stunned silence. The hall filled with emotion so thick Daehyun could almost taste it. They were given private quarters to adjust. A small room with soft lighting and comfortable furniture. As soon as the door closed, the intensity of the bond hit them again. "It's so much," Daehyun said, sitting heavily on the bed. "I can feel everything you're feeling." "How do you handle this all the time?" "We learn to modulate it," Narai said, sitting beside him. "Dr. Hyojin explained this, remember? Right now it's raw and new. Give it time." But Daehyun was discovering something else. Through the bond, he couldn't hide anything. Every insecurity, every fear, every moment of self-doubt was laid bare. Narai could feel all of it. "You think you're not good enough," she said softly. "It wasn't a question." "I've always thought that," he admitted. "Nothing special. Just ordinary." "But you are not ordinary to me," Narai said. She took his hand. "I feel your kindness, your strength, the way you care so deeply even when you pretend not to. You are extraordinary, Daehyun. I wish you could see yourself as I see you." Through the bond, he felt her sincerity. She meant every word, and underneath it he felt something else. Her own fears. "You're afraid too," he realized. "You think you're not worthy of this bond?" Narai's skin flickered with dark blues. Sadness. "I initiated this bond," she whispered. "What if I was selfish? What if I have trapped you with someone inadequate?" Daehyun squeezed her hand. "We're both afraid of the same thing, not being enough. But maybe together we're exactly what we need." They sat in silence, feeling each other's emotions flow and settle. The bond was intense, yes. Overwhelming, yes. But underneath the chaos was something solid, something real. That night, something unexpected happened. While they rested, Narai's control slipped, and a memory leaked through the bond. Daehyun saw it clearly. Narai in a laboratory looking at compatibility scans on a screen. His scan, the readings weren't just high. They were off the charts. Colors and numbers that made the Velaran scientists gasp and whisper. Daehyun's eyes snapped open. "Narai, what was that? What did I just see?" She sat up quickly, her skin paling. "I am sorry. I did not mean to share that memory." "Those compatibility readings," he said slowly, "they weren't just good. They were something else." "What aren't you telling me? What aren't any of you telling us?" Narai looked away. Through the bond, he felt her guilt, her conflict. "Tomorrow," she said quietly. "Tomorrow we will speak with Elder Mirai. There are things you need to know. Things about your species. Things that will change how you see yourself forever." Daehyun didn't sleep for the rest of the night. Through the bond, he felt Narai's restless guilt beside him. Neither of them spoke, but words weren't necessary anymore. They could feel each other's turmoil perfectly. Morning came too slowly and too quickly at the same time. Dr. Hyojin met them outside Elder Mirai's chambers, her face serious. "You know," Dr. Hyojin said simply. "I saw a memory through the bond," Daehyun said. "The compatibility readings. They were extreme." "What does that mean?" Dr. Hyojin sighed. "It means we need to have a conversation we should have had before the bonding. Come, Elder Mirai is waiting." The Elder's chambers were vast and filled with floating holographic displays, showing star systems and data Daehyun couldn't begin to understand. Elder Mirai sat in the center, her ancient eyes focused on them as they entered. "Daehyun," she said, "I owe you an apology. And an explanation." "Tell me the truth," he said. His hand found Narai's, squeezing tight. "All of it." Elder Mirai gestured and the holographic displays changed. They showed different species, dozens of them, with compatibility ratings beneath each one. "My people have traveled the galaxy for thousands of years," she began. "We have encountered hundreds of intelligent species. Most are incompatible for bonding. Our biology, our emotional structure simply does not align with theirs. A few species show marginal compatibility. We can form weak bonds with them, but they fade quickly and bring little benefit." She gestured again. The display showed Earth with compatibility ratings that blazed bright gold. "Then we found humanity," Elder Mirai said softly, "and everything changed. You are not just compatible, you are ideal. Perfect in ways we have never encountered. Nearly every human we have tested shows extraordinary compatibility with Velerans. Daehyun felt his mouth go dry. Beside him, Narai's skin flickered with uncertain colors. But why? He asked. We're nothing special. We barely have space travel. Our technology is primitive compared to yours. Dr. Hyojin stepped forward. That's what we thought at first, too. But when we studied human biology more carefully, we discovered something remarkable. May I? Daehyun nodded. Dr. Hyojin called up new displays showing brain scans and biological data. Human brains possess extraordinary neuroplasticity, she explained. The ability to adapt, to rewire themselves, to learn and change throughout your entire lives. Most species in the galaxy are rigid. Their neural patterns are fixed early and remain mostly stable. But humans, you're flexible in ways that are almost unheard of. She brought up more data. Your emotional capacity is vast. You can hold contradictory feelings simultaneously, joy and sadness, love and fear, hope and despair. Most species have simpler emotional ranges. The Valorans, for example, experience emotions sequentially, one at a time. But humans exist in emotional complexity that most aliens find overwhelming. Are you saying we're special because we're complicated? Daehyun asked. I'm saying you're special because you're survivors, Elder Mirai said. Tell me, Daehyun, what do you know about Earth's history? We evolved here, he said slowly. Came down from the trees. Built civilizations. You evolved on what we call a death world, Elder Mirai said bluntly. A planet with extreme climate variations. Ice ages and heat waves, earthquakes, hurricanes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions. Thousands of predator species. Diseases and plagues that swept through populations. Earth has tried to kill your species since the beginning. And you survived it all. Dr. Hyojin pulled up images of other planets. Most intelligent species evolved on stable worlds. Consistent climates. Few natural disasters. Mild conditions. They didn't need to develop extreme adaptability because their environments didn't demand it. But humans, you had to become flexible or die. You had to develop complex emotions to navigate social groups because survival meant cooperation. You had to become resilient because anything less meant extinction. Daehyun stared at the images. He'd never thought of Earth as particularly dangerous. It was just home. The Velaran bonding mechanism evolved to seek partners who could complement our weaknesses. Elder Mirai continued. We are logical but rigid, strong in mind but fragile in body, limited in emotional range but stable in temperament. We needed partners who could be what we cannot. And in all our travels we never found them, until we found you. So you came here looking for this, Daehyun said. His voice came out flat. The whole refugee story. Was any of it true? Every word was true, Elder Mirai said firmly. Our world was destroyed. We are dying as a species, but yes, we had scanned Earth before we arrived. We knew about your compatibility. We came here with hope, not just desperation. Through the bond, Daehyun felt Narai's shame and sorrow. She had known all of this. She had chosen him knowing he was compatible not just with her, but with any Velaran. He was valuable for what he was, not who he was. Did you choose me because of the scan? He asked Narai quietly. Or because of me? Narai's skin paled. Both, she whispered. The scan told me we were compatible. But I chose you because when I saw your file, read about your life, I felt connection. The scan opened the door. You made me want to walk through it. Is our bond even real? Daehyun asked. Or is it just biology? Compatible chemicals and electrical signals? Can you not feel my heart? Narai asked, tears flowing down her glowing cheeks. Right now, through our bond, can you not sense everything I feel? My care for you is real, Daehyun. My affection is real. Yes, biology made it possible, but I made it happen because I wanted you specifically. Through the bond, he felt the truth of her words. Her emotions were raw and honest. She wasn't lying, but he was still reeling from everything else. The whole world is going to learn this, aren't they? He said, that humans are special, that we're valuable for bonding. The information has already begun spreading, Dr. Hyojin admitted. Some bonded pairs shared the truth with families. Media's investigating. By tomorrow, everyone will know. Daehyun laughed, but there was no humor in it. My whole life I thought I was ordinary. Nothing special. Just another person. And now you're telling me my entire species is unique in the galaxy? That we're somehow better than everyone else? Not better, Elder Mirai corrected gently. Different. Uniquely suited for certain things. Every species has strengths. Humanity's happen to align perfectly with Valoran needs. I need time, Daehyun said. I need to think. He left the chamber. Narai followed, their bond making it impossible for her to stay behind when he was in such distress. They walked through the embassy gardens in silence. Finally, Daehyun spoke. I spent my whole life feeling invisible, like I didn't matter, and now I'm being told I matter because of my DNA, because I'm human, not because of anything I've done or who I am. Your DNA gave you potential, Narai said carefully, but you became who you are through your choices, through your kindness and your strength and your determination. Yes, you have advantages from your biology, but so does every being. I have bioluminescent skin and a natural affinity for mathematics. That is my biology. But I chose to study the stars. I chose to seek understanding. Biology is not destiny. It is merely foundation. Daehyun sat on a bench. My friend Ji-won. He volunteered for the next bonding cycle. Is he going to be chosen because he's human? Would any Valoran want him? Yes, Narai said honestly. Many Valorans are waiting hopefully for compatible human partners. Your friend will have choices. And that doesn't bother you? That we're so desired? It gives me hope, Narai said. Hope that my people will survive. Hope that we can build something new together. Is that selfish? Through the bond, he felt her conflict. She was caught between her loyalty to her dying species and her care for him. She wanted both to succeed. No, Daehyun said finally. It's not selfish. It's survival. I get that. He thought about it more. About Earth's harsh history. About humanity clawing its way up from primitive beginnings. About all the wars and disasters and struggles that had forged his species into what they were. Maybe being ordinary was wrong, he said slowly. Maybe I just never had the right perspective. But that doesn't change who I am. I'm still me. Knowing I'm special doesn't make me different than I was yesterday. You are beginning to understand, Narai said. Her skin shifted to warmer colors. Hope. You are still Daehyun, but now you see yourself as others see you. As I see you, Ji-won called later that evening, excitement bursting through the phone. Did you hear? We're special. Humanity is special. The news is everywhere. We're compatible with the Valorans. We're valuable. This is amazing. I know, Daehyun said tiredly. I found out this morning. Oh, right, you're bonded. You probably knew already. Ji-won paused. How are you feeling about it? Confused, overwhelmed, but okay, I think. Daehyun looked at Narai, who was pretending not to listen but feeling everything through their bond anyway. The bond is real. That's what matters. I'm volunteering for the next cycle for sure, Ji-won said. This is our chance to be part of something huge. Humanity joining the galactic community properly, not as primitives but as partners. After the call ended, Daehyun sat with Narai in comfortable silence. The bond between them hummed with shared emotion. Uncertainty, yes, but also hope. And something deeper, growing affection that was becoming harder to deny. I was never ordinary, Daehyun said softly. I just didn't know how to see. It none of us did. And now you know, Narai said. What will you do with this knowledge? Live with it, he said. Accept it, use it. 6 months passed. Daehyun and Narai settled into a rhythm that felt natural despite its strangeness. They shared an apartment in a mixed human Valoran neighborhood, one of several that had sprung up since the bondings began. The bond had become comfortable. They'd learned to control it, to mute the connection when needed or amplify it when wanted. Most of the time it existed as a warm presence in the background of Daehyun's mind. Narai was always there, her emotions a gentle echo to his own. Mornings Daehyun still went to work at construction sites, but now he collaborated with Valoran engineers who brought advanced materials and techniques. Buildings that would have taken years now took months. Technology that seemed like magic became everyday tools. Evenings he worked with Narai on their joint project. They were designing a new type of habitat that could house both species comfortably. Human practicality met Valoran theoretical physics. The results surprised both of them. This support structure shouldn't work, Daehyun said one night, staring at their designs. According to everything I learned in engineering school, it's impossible. According to Valoran physics, it is perfectly sound, Narai said, her skin glowing soft blue as she concentrated. Your Earth physics are incomplete. You lack understanding of gravitational microfields. Teach me, Daehyun said. Through the bond, knowledge flowed between them. Not instant understanding, but accelerated learning. Narai could feel which concepts confused him and adjust her explanations. He could sense when her theoretical ideas needed practical grounding and offer solutions. Their partnership became a model for other bonded pairs. All across Earth, humans and Velerans were discovering they could accomplish together what neither could alone. Jiwon had bonded with Soman, a young Veleran artist, in the second ceremony. He visited often, always enthusiastic. "Soman is teaching me to see colors I didn't know existed," he said excitedly. "Literally. Velerans perceive a wider spectrum than humans. Through the bond, I'm starting to sense it too." "And you're teaching her?" Narai asked. "How to laugh," Jiwon grinned. "Real belly laughs. Velerans have humor, but it's subtle. Soman says feeling my joy is like discovering a new emotion. Life was good. Almost perfect. That's when everything changed." The warning came on a Tuesday morning. Daehyun was at work when his phone exploded with emergency alerts. He called Narai immediately. "I know," she said before he could speak. Through the bond, he felt her fear. "Ships have entered the solar system. The Krell Dominion. They have found us. Who are the Krell?" Daehyun asked, already running toward his car. "The ones who destroyed our world," Narai said, her voice shaking. "They hunted us across space. They enslave other species, steal their knowledge. They wanted to capture us, use us, we fled, and now they have followed." By the time Daehyun reached the Valoran embassy, emergency meetings were already underway. Elder Mirai addressed a room full of bonded pairs, human officials, and military commanders. "The Krell fleet consists of 20 warships," she said, holographic displays showing dark, angular vessels. "Their technology far exceeds current human capabilities. But they are not unstoppable. They are logical, predictable. They rely on overwhelming force," a human general spoke up. "Our weapons won't penetrate their shields. Our fighters are too slow. How do we fight an enemy we can't touch?" "We think differently," Dr. Heejin said. She looked exhausted but determined. "The Krell are powerful, yes, but they're rigid. They follow patterns. Humans don't. We improvise, we adapt. Combined with Valoran knowledge, we might find weaknesses they don't expect." The room erupted in discussion. Plans were proposed and discarded. Time was running out. The Krell would reach Earth in 48 hours. That night, Daehyun couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling while Narai's fear pulsed through their bond. Finally, he sat up. "Tell me about their ships," he said. "Everything. How they're built, how they work." Narai shared her knowledge through the bond. Images, data, technical specifications. Daehyun absorbed it all, his engineer's mind turning over possibilities. "Their shields," he said slowly. "They're designed to deflect energy weapons and kinetic impacts. High-frequency, high-power defenses." "Yes," Narai confirmed. "Nothing we have can penetrate them." "But what about low-frequency interference?" Daehyun asked. An idea was forming. "The shields are powerful, but are they adaptive? Can they handle multiple simultaneous attack vectors at different frequencies?" Narai's skin flickered as she considered. "No, their shields are static. They do not adapt. But no one has ever tried such an attack because most species develop weapons in predictable ways." "Humans don't develop predictably," Daehyun said. Through the bond, excitement flowed between them. "We use whatever works. Sometimes that means high-tech solutions. Sometimes it means hitting things with rocks. What if we combined both?" They worked through the night. Daehyun's practical engineering combined with Narai's theoretical knowledge. By morning, they had a plan. The strategy meeting was tense. Daehyun presented their idea to the room full of military commanders and scientists. "We can't punch through their shields with brute force," he explained, "but we can confuse them. Multiple coordinated attacks at different frequencies, conventional missiles mixed with electromagnetic pulses, physical projectiles alongside energy weapons. The shields can't adapt fast enough to defend against everything at once." "It's unconventional," a general said slowly. "Messy, but it might work." "That's the point," Dr. Hyejin said. "The Krell expect order, logic, overwhelming superiority. They don't expect chaos. Humans excel at controlled chaos. The plan was approved. Over the next 36 hours, humans and Velerans worked together at impossible speeds. Bonded pairs coordinated efforts across the globe. Weapons were modified, ships were retrofitted, communications networks synchronized. Daehyun barely left the command center. Through his bond with Narai, they coordinated teams of engineers. When he got stuck on a problem, she provided solutions. When she lost track of practical limitations, he grounded her theories in reality. The Krell arrived exactly when predicted. 20 massive warships emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. They moved toward Earth with terrifying confidence. The battle began badly. Earth's fleet engaged, but their weapons bounced harmlessly off Krell shields. 3 human ships were destroyed in the first minutes. Panic rippled through the command center. "Wait," Daehyun said, watching the tactical display. "Let them get confident. Let them think they've already won." The Krell pressed forward. Then at a signal coordinated between human and Velaran forces, the real attack began. Missiles came from every direction, each tuned to different frequencies. Electromagnetic pulses disrupted their sensors. Kinetic projectiles struck at angles their shields weren't designed to defend. Energy weapons fired in patterns that made no tactical sense but overwhelmed their defenses through sheer unpredictability. The first Krell ship lost shields. Then the second. Human and Velaran fighters swarmed through the gaps, targeting weak points that Velaran knowledge identified and human pilots exploited. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, 12 Krell ships were destroyed. The remaining 8 retreated into faster-than-light, fleeing the system. But victory came at a cost. 15 human ships were lost, 8 Valoran vessels destroyed. And worse, 7 bonded pairs died in the fighting. Daehyun felt each death through his connection to Narai, who felt it through her connections to other Valorans. The severed bonds were like wounds in reality itself. Surviving partners collapsed, their minds torn by the sudden absence of their other half. In the aftermath, the command center was silent. They had won, but the price was devastating. Daehyun found Narai in the corner of the room, her skin pale and flickering. He held her as she wept for the lost bonds, for the partners who would never recover from their severed connections. "We survived," she whispered, "but so many did not." "I know," Daehyun said. Through their bond, grief flowed between them, but also relief. They had survived together. They were still whole. Elder Mirai addressed the exhausted defenders. "Today, 2 species stood together against destruction. We lost friends, partners, loved ones. But we proved something important. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart." The Krell thought us weak. They learned otherwise. Daehyun looked around the room. Humans and Velarans, bonded and unbonded, stood together in shared grief and shared victory. They had faced extinction and fought back, not with superior technology or overwhelming force, but with creativity, adaptation, and unity. His ordinary engineering skills, combined with Narai's extraordinary knowledge, had helped save both their peoples. Maybe he wasn't so ordinary after all, or maybe being ordinary was exactly what made humans special. He held Narai closer, feeling her heartbeat through their bond. They had survived the fire together, and whatever came next, they would face it the same way. The memorial was held on a gray morning 3 days after the battle. Thousands gathered in the main plaza of the human Velaran district. Humans and Valoran stood together, mourning their dead as one people. Daehyun stood with Narai, their bond humming with shared grief. Around them, other bonded pairs held each other tight. The survivors who had lost their partners sat in the front row, their faces hollow. 7 humans, 7 Velarans, forever incomplete. Elder Mirai spoke, her voice carrying across the silent crowd. "We honor those who fell defending our joined home. They gave everything so that we might continue. Their sacrifice will not be forgotten. Their bonds, though severed, showed us the strength we possess together." One by one, people shared memories. A human woman talked about her Valoran partner who loved Earth's reign. A Velaran man described his human wife's terrible jokes that made him laugh despite not understanding them. Each story was a piece of lives cut short, bonds broken too soon. When the ceremony ended, Daehyun and Narai volunteered to counsel the bereaved. Through their bond, they could share understanding and comfort in ways words never could. It was painful work, feeling others' anguish so intimately, but it was also necessary. Will they recover? Daehyun asked Dr. Hyejin one evening, exhausted from another counseling session. "Some will," she said carefully. "Others may never fully heal. A severed bond is like losing half your soul. It's a wound that never quite closes." The tragedy brought the 2 species closer together. Grief was universal, it turned out. Human and Velaran mourning looked different but felt the same. Communities formed around shared loss, then around shared hope. 3 weeks after the battle, visitors arrived. Ships bearing the symbol of the Galactic Council entered Earth's orbit, requesting permission to land. Daehyun watched the landing from the embassy roof with Narai. Sleek vessels touched down in the designated area, and aliens emerged. Not just one species, but dozens. Representatives from across known space. Why are they here? He asked. Because we defeated the Krell, Narai said. Her skin glowed with cautious hope. Because the galaxy is watching now. We are no longer invisible. The Galactic Council's meeting was formal and strange. Aliens of every shape and size filled the Great Hall. Some were crystalline beings that sang instead of spoke. Others were cloud-like entities that communicated through color shifts. A few looked almost human, while some were so alien Daehyun struggled to perceive them properly. The council chair, a being made of living metal, addressed the assembly. Its voice resonated like bells. Humanity. The Galactic Council extends an invitation. You have proven yourselves capable defenders. Your alliance with the Valorans is unprecedented. We offer you membership and all its privileges. Earth's representatives, a mix of political leaders and bonded pairs, considered the offer. Dr. Hyejin stood to speak. We are honored, she said, but we come as partners with the Valorans. Where we go, they go. Our species are bonded now in more ways than one. The council chair's metal body shifted, displaying approval. This is acceptable. In fact, it is remarkable. Your bonding capability may be of interest to other species facing similar challenges to the Valorans. We propose a joint institute to study this phenomenon, knowledge shared freely among all. Elder Mire stepped forward. The Valorans accept. We have hidden our decline too long out of pride. If our bonding can help others, if humanity's unique gifts can be studied and understood, perhaps we can offer hope across the galaxy. Discussions continued for days. Treaties were drafted. Technology exchanges were negotiated. Humanity was joining the galactic community not as a minor power, but as an equal, more than equal. As something unique and valuable. Daehyun watched it all with a sense of wonder. A year ago, he had been nobody. A lonely engineer going through the motions. Now he sat in meetings with aliens from across the galaxy, his insights valued, his bond with Narai serving as proof of concept for interspecies cooperation. One evening, he and Narai walked through the city. The human Valoran district had grown. Shops catered to both species. Children played together, human and Valoran young learning from each other. Some of the kids were already showing signs of the benefits bonding brought. Human children with enhanced learning abilities. Valoran children with increased emotional awareness. We are creating something new, Nari said, watching the children play. Not human. Not Valoran. Something more. Is that good? Daehyun asked. I think so, she said. Evolution is not about one species replacing another. It is about growth. Change. We are both becoming more than we were. They stopped at the construction site where Daehyun had been working the night everything changed. The cultural center was complete now. A beautiful fusion of human and Valoran architecture. Practical and elegant. Grounded and soaring. This is where it started for me, Daehyun said. Standing here thinking I was just an ordinary guy building just another building. And then you appeared in my life. You were never ordinary, Narai said. You just needed someone to help you see it. Maybe, Daehyun smiled. Or maybe being ordinary is what makes humans special. We're not the strongest or the smartest or the most advanced, but we adapt. We survive. We connect. That's our gift. Through their bond, understanding flowed. Narai had learned this truth over their year together. Humanity's strength wasn't in superiority. It was in their ability to find strength in anything. To make connections where others saw only differences. To survive and thrive through cooperation and creativity. Jiwon and Soman are getting married, Daehyun said. They want to have a hybrid ceremony. Human wedding traditions mixed with Valoran bonding renewal. That sounds beautiful, Narai said. Her skin glowed warm gold. What about us? What about us? Daehyun echoed. We are bonded for life, Narai said. But humans have marriage. A separate ceremony of commitment. Would you want that? Daehyun looked at her. Really looked at her. This alien woman who had chosen him, who shared his every emotion, who had become as essential to him as breathing. Through their bond he felt her hope, her love, her gentle nervousness. Yes, he said simply. I would want that very much. Narai's skin blazed with brilliant light, joy radiating through their connection. Then we will have both. A bond and a marriage, two traditions becoming one like us. They entered the cultural center together. Inside, exhibits told the story of both species. Human history of struggle and triumph, Velaran history of exploration and loss, and now a new section being built. The story of the bonding. Of two species finding each other across the stars and creating something neither could have imagined alone. Daehyun found a quiet corner and pulled Narai close. Through their bond, emotions swirled. Love, certainly, but also gratitude, hope, excitement for the future. All the complex feelings that made him human shared with someone who valued every nuance. I spent so long thinking I was nobody special, he said softly, that I was just ordinary. I was wrong about that. But I was also right. How can both be true? Narai asked. Because ordinary is extraordinary, Daehyun said. Every human is ordinary. Every human is special. We're remarkable because of what we share, not in spite of it. Our adaptability, our empathy, our resilience. These aren't unique to me. They're what makes us human. All of us. Narai's understanding bloomed through their bond. She saw it finally fully. The truth that had taken Daehyun months to accept. Humans were special precisely because they thought themselves ordinary. Their strength came from not realizing they were strong. Your species will change the galaxy, Narai said. You already have. Our species, Daehyun corrected gently. Not humans. Not Velorans. Both. Together. They stood in the center of the building Daehyun had helped create, surrounded by the story of two species becoming one family. Outside, the sun was setting. Through the windows, they could see the mixed neighborhood spreading outward. Human and Velaran architecture blending seamlessly, children of both species playing together, a future being built, one connection at a time. Somewhere in space, the Galactic Council was preparing to welcome humanity officially. Somewhere in laboratories, scientists studied the bonding phenomenon that might save other dying species. Somewhere in military academies, tacticians analyzed how humans and Velorans had defeated the Krell together. But here, in this moment, Daehyun and Narai were just two people holding each other. An ordinary engineer and a brilliant scientist. A human and a Velaran, partners, bondmates, soon to be married, extraordinary in their ordinariness, special in their commonality, remarkable simply by being themselves together. Daehyun took Narai's hand and together they walked toward the exit. Toward their life. Toward whatever came next. He was no longer the lonely man who thought himself unremarkable. He was part of something greater. Part of a bond. Part of a future where two species stood together. And that, he realized, was exactly who he had always been. He just needed to find someone who could help him see it. The doors opened to the evening air. They stepped outside together into the world they were building. Into the future they would share. Into the extraordinary life that had grown from one ordinary choice. Behind them, the cultural center stood as testament to what was possible when two species chose connection over isolation. When they chose to see the extraordinary in the ordinary, when they chose each other.